Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to week 3 of high school football here in the state of Louisiana. We are live from Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts building here in Opelousas, Louisiana, next door to Peking's. Greatly. We got audio from Gary Swallow's. That's Mr. Swallow's phone.
I'm sorry.
Let's get this ball rolling. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Go ahead and hit the like, hit the share now. Let's get the word out that week 3 is here. We got a lot to talk about. We got some games to pick that you just seen our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much to our sponsors. The after effect. All right, let's go ahead and introduce the panel at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, starting on my far left would be your right at home. We'll go ahead and let Coach introduce himself at this time.
Coach Kip Duplashan.
Jacob McCoy from DeQuincy, Louisiana. Great to be on the set.
And I'm Gary Swallow, owner of Taekwondo Plus, and welcome to Under the Lights.
Hold on a second.
Technical difficulties, guys. Just bear with us.
We're back. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a mic check. Check those mics real quick. Thumbs up in the chat.
If you hear us, give us a sign, guys.
Mic check, mic check.
Check, check.
All right, good. Let's go.
Good to go. So that was our first attempt at headphones. So that was a little rusty start. So let's go back to what we know, right?
Right?
All
Let's
right,
do it.
so we just introduced the panel. This is Coach Kip. This is Mr. Gary Swallow, and that's Jake McCoy. Coach, we got a lot to talk about. We got little time. I'm ready to dive right into it, but because we got some good games on this list, right? You look through it,
man.
and you've seen it's a loaded week 3 for sure.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the non-district schedule some of these teams are playing, man.
And me and Gary and Holden, we would always talk about this and say hats off to these coaches for putting some of these games together in non-district.
Yeah, and I see a couple of big rivalries that I haven't seen in a while, so I'm kind of excited about it.
Look at this. All right, initial thoughts of week 2 from last week. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, wow. Go ahead. Man, a lot of shockers, a lot of upsets. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, every week, there's some blockbuster matchups. It's a bunch of blockbuster matchups every week. Shout out to the coaches for scheduling these games.
Gary, initial thoughts of week 2.
I'm going to tell you, it was what I call it, that wow moment. We had a lot of wow games this week. It was exciting. Some games that we didn't think were going to go that way. So, like I said, all I can say, it was a wow week.
Coach, you back in town? You got to see some football in person?
Yeah, me being the former defensive coordinator at Abbeville, that was a big wow for me. Hats off to the Central Catholic players, man. A lot of those kids were playing both ways. I wasn't able to watch it on TV. I think for my guys at Abbeville, it might have put that chip back on their shoulder. That's kind of what I'm hoping. But I was really impressed with how hard those kids from Central Catholic played, and I hate to say it, but they did deserve to win that game.
So Gary's good on volume. Somebody let me know right now if my volume's good. Jake, talking to the mic. Let's check your volume.
Mic check, 1, 2, mic check.
And You're going to have to get the nerves out of the way.
Yeah.
Just heard Coach talk, so how does all 4 mics sound? You said Gary sounds good. Let's check on the other 3.
Need to make sure, guys. Miss Mindy, can you hear me
Live
now?
on set with some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Check, check. I'm good.
Mic check.
You hear my beautiful voice? Yeah.
Dan said all.
Right, all good now. That's good.
All good.
All right.
You're a little low. I don't know which one. Good.
Mindy says barely.
Big Mike. Big Mike's probably benching about 600 pounds by now.
Oh, Mikey?
Yeah.
Right? Mikey picks up, can pick up, a car if he wanted
He
to.
could probably still do a roundhouse kick, too.
All right, we're going to go
taught
ahead
him
and
well.
continue the show at this time. And I'll just talk a little louder for everyone at home if it is still a problem moving forward. At this time, like we said, we let the panel introduce themselves. Gary, go ahead and introduce your business if Keith wants to put that logo on the screen.
Well, my name is Gary Swallow. I'm the owner of Tiger Rock Martial Arts of Opelousas, and we train men, women, and children of all ages starting at 4. And we'd love to have anybody interested in martial arts training to come down and join our school. This is a big family we have here. Once you come in the door and see how we do things out here, you will never leave and never go anywhere else. So give us a call. We'd love to have you.
All right, at this time, let Coach Kip talk to us about the journey to this point, where you've been and what you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could almost write a book about it, but I was working in the oil field, always wanted to be a coach. I worked for a company called Frank's Casing, turned into Frank's International. I got to meet people around the world, but the whole time I just really wanted to coach. My mentor was, I played for Larry Dotrieve at Opelousas Catholic. He's in the Hall of Fame. I learned a lot from him. And I ended up coaching for Coach Doug Guillory at OC for 1 year as a CECP, and it really changed my entire outlook at football because you go from Coach Dotrieve with his big, thick playbook to Coach Doug with Coach Doug's playbook wasn't as thick, but he was big time on fundamentals and keeping the game plan simple and making sure the kids were having fun and playing with 100% effort. So I was just working in the oil field after that, buying my time, saving my money. My first coaching job was at Beauchene High School. A couple of those coaches are still there. Coach Bill Sturgis, Coach Thad Dickey. I was there for 2 years. That was an 0-10 program. When we got there, we turned it around from 0-10. Our first year, we went 5-5. Second year, we went 7-3. And, we didn't win the state championship or anything, but for Beauchene standards, that was the first time in school history they went to back-to-back playoff appearances. It was also the first time they had hosted a home playoff game. So, and our second year, we were called the Road Warriors because we couldn't play on our own field because it was so messed up.
I remember that.
So that was quite an experience playing our homecoming game at Westminster Christian Academy, and then we had to play our home playoff game for the first time in school history at Donald Gardner Stadium. So, it was some ups and downs, but I have a lot of good memories there. Then after that, I got to go coach under my mentor, Doug Guillory, when he got the head coaching job at Opelousas High. I really enjoyed my time there. I was there for 2 years, kind of the same story. They probably think it was 2008, last time they made the playoffs. And we went there, went 5-5 both seasons. Got the unlucky draw of Neville in the first round.
Oh, wow.
We went over there. The kids were happy just to be there. From there, I went to Lafayette High. That was an 0-10 program also. We went 4-6 that year under Coach Rob Poole. I was his defensive coordinator. And the last 2 years, I've been at Abbeville High. Now, that's been really fun for me because every one of these schools, when I went there, all of my buddies would tell me, why are you going there? They're not winning any games anytime soon. But the one they told me about the most was Abbeville High. They said, I won't say their names because it's real tempting not to, but some very respected coaches. Like, man, you're going to Abbeville High? They're not going to win the games anytime soon. So the first year I get there, it's COVID, you know, but we still made the playoffs. So a new offense, a new defense. The kids had to learn everything from scratch, and we had all these COVID rules. So all in all, I thought it was a very successful first year with me and Coach Moy. And then last year, man, those kids in that off season from the first and second year, they were really bought into what we were doing. And it started in January. And that strength and conditioning program, you know, he kind of let me, Coach Moy, he let me do whatever I want in the weight room and on defense. But January comes around, those kids were hungry, man. All summer long, they were hungry. So when that season started, it just went from there. I mean, we had a 9-1 season.
What a year.
It was the first time in 16 years we won the Russo Trophy from Kaplan. You know, I'm not from that area, so that rivalry to me, I was never a part of it. I'm from here. I remember the OC Port Barre rivalry, but man, this Kaplan Abbeville thing was a whole nother
It was
level.
something to see for sure, Gary?
That was, man. We were there, and that was an awesome sight.
I mean, came down to the wire, man. You know, we had like four or five shutouts that season. So for me as a defensive coordinator, I mean, it was a blast. We make it to the playoffs. We win that first one. Then we go in the second round to Walsman, and I think you guys were at that game.
Yep.
That was unbelievable. So, I mean, we had a second half shutout, but it still came down to the wire because it was a defensive battle in the third and fourth quarter. And then we had the unlucky draw of playing Union Parish at home. And I went back and rewatched that film several times, man. And, you know, 3 or 4 plays here or there. It was the quarterback's first game back. And I was really trying to stop the run. So there's some things I would do differently. But to be honest, I'd probably do it 90% the same way of what we were doing. I think we were doing the right things. It's just they're good, man.
Oh, yeah.
And they're good this year, too.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I'm back in the all field. I'm working in North Alaska on the North Slope for GBR Casing. And I'm really enjoying it. You know, I miss coaching. I got out of it. I hate to say it. It's the politics that kind of pushed me out. But, you know, it is what it is. So now I'm here. And for you guys to have this program, one reason, you know, a lot of people ask me, man, why'd you buy that gold package sponsorship? And I'm sure you guys are probably wondering the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Back in my day, we didn't have this. This would have been awesome, dude.
Exactly.
You know, Basile versus Ville Platte is not being televised. But you guys, those kids got to have a platform to showcase what they can do, and they got some talent, you know?
I'm going to tell you something, Kip, just between me and you. Back in the day, imagine the Port Barre OC rivalry back in them days. You know, because it was tip for tat before.
That's right. That's right.
You know, now. But, I mean, that was one of the best rivalries around. And I'm a Red Devil, and I know you a Viking.
That's right.
But guess what? We can be friends off of the field, but on the field, we're going to try to kill. No,
and my senior year was the first time in 13 years that we beat Port Barre, and that was a big moment for us as young kids. And if that could have been televised, we probably could have rewatched it several times.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
These kids have something that they can look back on for years to come.
And
sure.
and that goes back to me being a coach. I tell these kids all the time, look, man, I don't want to sound like the old guy, but y'all don't know how good you have it. Like, I mean, you got all kind of things that we didn't have. You have signing days to go to Louisiana College. That didn't exist back in my day. If you didn't sign a D1 scholarship, is what it is. Now, man, like, they showcase these kids, which I think is a good thing, but, you know, I don't want them to get too used to it, if that makes any sense.
Well, you still got to keep the hunger.
So, like, and plus another big reason, you probably don't remember, but when I was the powerlifting coach at Beauchesne and OHS, every time I came here for a sponsorship, you hooked me up, man. So everything comes around.
Wow.
Full circle.
You know?
Hey, you know, that's what I'm in this business for. It's not just for kicking and punching and fighting. I'm here for the kids. I'm here for the young adults. I mean, I train adults as well. And, you know, I want to keep them on the right path. And as a matter of fact, you knew a couple of my students. Jaden Lamel was one of your lifters.
That's right.
and his mom's actually on the feed. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, they've always told me good things about what you did over there. So keep it up.
I
Awesome.
appreciate it. You know, so that's me, but I just really think this is a good thing. I want to see it keep going. You know, big shout out to all my Abbeville kids. I'm gonna try not to be too biased and talk about Abbeville the whole time, but like I said, that upset last week really upset me, and it's because they weren't themselves, and I want them to get that chip back on their shoulder. But you know, while I'm talking about it, Abbeville fans, y'all got to do better, guys. Y'all can't boo the Central Catholic kids for cramping when they're playing both ways. Because if that was your kid cramping, y'all want to fight all those people on the other side of the stands. So, I mean, I know you get passionate about it, but come on, man, we got to do better, you know. So I think as a community, as a school, as a football team, I hope everybody just regroups. I'm going to visit tomorrow. I'm going to still get the pregame meal on Friday. It probably won't be as good as last week because y'all lost. But, you know, I'm rooting for y'all. But if you get that chip back on your shoulder, there's no reason y'all can't right this ship and get the season that you had last year back on track. Because it's still early, man. It's still early.
Right.
And this is a big rivalry game this week. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, this week's games are sponsored by Bird's Eye Insurance. Let's take a look at Bird's Eye Insurance. Mr. Northwest Raider himself, Mr. Alex Fontenot, sponsoring, especially that game. You know he's sponsoring that game.
Yeah.
All right, call Alex Fontenot with Bird's Eye Insurance. Having endless options, he will shop all of your insurance needs, finding you the best price with the best coverage, and he will make you a friend rather than just a client. Tell him Under the Lights sent you on by. So thank you to our game sponsors for this week, Bird's Eye Insurance. Taking us right into our social media. If you want to follow Under the Lights on social media, here's how you can do so. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Here is our platforms. And for the people talking about Jake in the chat right now, not many people know that Jake's actually a crew member for Under the Lights this 2022 season. So they said we need to get you on more often. He only lives 2 hours away.
Y'all want to PayPal me some gas money?
There you go.
Go ahead. Can't make this drive every week.
All right.
I gotta say, Jake's been a big blessing for
You're
us.
right,
He's
my
got
friend.
a lot of these helmets behind us. He's responsible for that. So I gotta tell him once again, thanks.
Headlines for this week. We're going to start off with the panel. If you got some headlines this week that you would like to share, you have that opportunity right now. But while you're thinking about it, Headlines this week is sponsored by Mama's Fried Chicken and Mikey's Donuts. So while you think about those headlines, let's talk about Mama's Fried Chicken.
Yummy.
Family-owned local restaurant serving our community and surrounding areas since 1977. 46 years in the business. 2 locations here in Opelousas at St. Landry Street and Jake Drive in Opelousas, Louisiana. Mama's Fried Chicken asks about their party platters for all your game day needs. Drumlets, chicken salad sandwiches, devil eggs, chicken tenders, shrimp, and fish. Tell them Under the Lights sent you by. Coach, you missed an opportunity to go get some Mamas today.
Man, I tell y'all, last year we played VC, and we beat them 43-0. I just have to say that. But we came and scouted them play OC the week before, and I took Coach Moore here, and he's heard about Mamas, and I said, "Have you ever eaten a Mama's Fried Chicken?" He said, "No, man." So I said, I'm telling you right now, it will be the best fried chicken you've ever eaten. He said, "I don't know." And you could ask him yourself. Mama's Fried Chicken is the best he's ever had, man. And same for me.
All right. Also, you have Mikey's Donuts sponsoring this week Gary, they've been around a long
Man.
time. How many years you think they've been in business
Oh
here?
God, I can't remember that far. I mean, it's whenever I was younger, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we'd always go whenever we needed donuts, we'd head straight over there, and it was finger licking good. We used to like to get the donut holes.
There you go.
That's what I used to get too. The
Ladies and-
chocolate milk.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find them at 952 East Landry Street in Opelousas, Louisiana. They're open Monday. They're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So every day of the week. 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. So 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. Their phone number is 337-942-2128. Tell Mr. Mikey that Under the Lights sent you by. You want some good donuts? I highly recommend go down there and see Mikey's Donuts. So that is our sponsors to bring us into our headlines this week. All right, headlines for this week. Let's go. Who's got some? I got some written down, but the panel, you have the floor.
I'm gonna start off. I got a few. First off, kind of a really big one. I was scrolling through Twitter yesterday. I seen Hunter Bauer with Go Preps shared and posted. I can't remember the girl's name. At North Shore High School, they had their homecoming game last week. They won. I can't remember who they played. Their kicker, I cannot remember. It's a girl, and she did really well. 6 for 6 on PATs. Not only that, she got homecoming queen.
Okay.
And that was a pretty cool to see. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, she can nail a field goal just like any other guy.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool to see. 6 for 6 on PATs, and then crowned homecoming queen the same night. That's got to be awesome.
There you go. Gary, you got any headlines from last week?
Not right off, man. I'm kind of blank because I had a long day, and I was so I didn't have anything written down. But I'll think of something in a minute. I'm sure.
Mr. Kip?
Yeah, I have a few. I mean, of course, Abbeville, North Vermilion, that's a rivalry. I think it's been 3 years since they played each other. North Vermilion kind of surprised me. Coach Landon Dupuis, shout out. Coach Landon Dupuis was the wide receiver coach at Abbeville. He's at North Vermilion now. He is a North Vermilion graduate. He's a great hype guy, man. He's a hell of a coach, a good baseball coach, but he's a good wide receivers coach also. He's the guy that makes the kids have fun, and I think that has a big part of what's going on in North Vermilion. But I think Abbeville's going to have that chip on their shoulder, and they're going to get it done. So that's a huge rivalry. It's going to be something to see if you in town.
Okay.
Another big one, you and I talked about it before, North Central's getting that win this week.
I didn't say it. Coach said it, Gary.
I'm saying it, man. I mean, this time.
I want to see it bad.
I want to see that happen myself.
I'm biased. I'm a big Doug Guillory fan. If they could one day land Doug Guillory as the head football coach of North Central, the sky's the limit, man. I'm telling you, he's the kind of guy that could make that program right. No doubts.
I tell you what, they got a good one right now also with Caruth.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what?
Big
I just
cow.
don't know, man. I just don't know those guys. He probably is the man for the job. So I'm just saying that, thinking of years past, to be honest with
Right.
you. But if any coach with passion is there, and if he's the guy, I think North Central is a gold mine. If somebody could just get those kids to buy in, because we all know what they do for basketball season. They got 5A schools scared to play North Central in basketball. So the same kids, man. It's the same kids.
Well, we were told whenever we talked to him that he's the basketball coach is isn't he on
Yeah,
his defense.
he's a
on his
defensive
staff. He's
coordinator now.
defensive
Oh,
coordinator.
that's awesome, man.
Basketball
So-
players are
Man.
going out for football.
You
He's-
better
he's
watch out
getting
for
them
North
all-
Central then.
He's getting them involved.
That's great, guys. Good job, coaches. That's
I'll tell
awesome
you-
stuff.
I'll tell you, I've heard a lot of great things about Coach Caruth. He comes from he comes from a really
North
good
football.
mentor.
North Louisiana
Yeah,
football.
Yeah, that's big time.
Notably, Coach David Feaster, who is, by the way, a lot of y'all don't know, he is from Mamu. Played with my dad back in the 70s. He's been the head coach at Leesville, Manny, Parkway, notably. And he has done a fantastic job at Glenbrook. And to have one of his, I don't want to say disciples, but one of his guys that's been with him going and have his own gig is pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Headlines from last week that I wrote down. How about we stick with Abbeville for a second? Coco the Klepto, 3 touchdowns, a blocked extra point, numerous tackles and pass breakups. You saw that man in live action last week. What a special talent he is for that football team. Another huge week for Coco the Klepto.
He is, man. And I remember the night he got that nickname. We had that. That was a special defense we had for Erath. We jumped that route. We knew he was going to take it to the house. He's a special talent, man. He's a special talent. He's that kind of kid that you just want to choke sometimes. But he has such charisma, man. He'll get in trouble with a teacher and they'll be yelling at him. Next minute, it's their favorite student. So he's just he's one of those kids where whenever he has it in his mind that it's time to go in the classroom or on the field, he's pretty hard to tackle on offense and on defense, man. Good luck throwing on him. So he is special.
All right. At this point, I'm going to roll through these. At any point you want to stop and talk about these headlines, jump in, fellas.
Let's do it.
All right. How about Delcom High School? They honor the loss of Brittany Migas, Delcom's biggest fan, at last week's game. She passed away, and the senior football players and cheerleaders and managers placed flowers in the chair where she would be sitting on a Friday night. What a special moment for that program.
Yeah.
To honor.
That's awesome, man.
Miss Brittany.
When you have a fan that's been supporting the program for so long, that's special to see them actually come up and do something like that. We talked about the sticker on the helmet right there for Port Barry, but this is something special because he did work for the team. She was there as a supporting. Awesome.
She was born with muscular dystrophy. So she didn't get to. So that was a great honor from Delcom to honor her that way.
Very special.
That's awesome, man.
Sulphur and Lafayette game has been moved to LCA. We might have some inside sources here. Is it field conditions, or let's just see who's the fastest one on turf? So Sulphur Lafayette High football game moved to LCA. Keep that in mind when you're making your picks later on, whenever they get on the turf.
I'd favor Sulphur. They play on turf majority of the time at home.
Right. How about Zach White of Ouachita Christian? Gary, did I get it right?
Yeah.
Okay. He gives the game ball to Chad Strickland after the Oak Grove game, a teammate of Ouachita Christian that had surgeries 2 days prior to the football game. Right. So what a moment there. You win the game, you go give it to your teammate that couldn't dress out because he just had surgery 2 days before.
Right.
You see little things like that, and you hope somebody captures that moment because it's little things like that you'll remember for the rest of your life.
And that's the kind of good stuff people should be posting on social media, man. It's all bad. The news is bad, but whenever you see stuff like that, that's when you realize football is more than just a game.
Right. Exactly. So Miss Mindy said Lafayette High is playing all their home games at LCA this year. So is their field under construction?
They're actually building a new school, or in the process of building a new school where the field's at, and they're going to be doing some stuff.
All right.
I think they're going to kind of swap them.
Not a bad place to host a game, then.
I thought they were going to go to Clark Field, but you said it. That's a good place to play.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let McCoy talk a little more.
Boy, you got some fans, man.
Well, let me go back to that Lafayette High thing real quick. The only thing that makes me sad about that, and I got to coach there for 1 year, Coach Tully, man, has that field looking like a collegiate field every single week. Right. And he's been doing it for, 20, 30 years, maybe more. Who knows? Baseball field, football field, when you pass by, it looks like professionally done. So they just ripping that up.
I gotta say, Miss Mindy lives right on Marie Antoinette on the side, and she lives right next to the baseball field and softball fields, and she knows all of the ins and outs. And on the crash. He said he's crying.
Oh yeah. He's I can't tell y'all, man, like people don't see what coaches do off the field.
Right.
Coach Tully might be at that field 4 or 5 hours a day, and I'm not exaggerating, year round.
That's passion. They have the passion, and they want it to be the best. I remember that. I know how it is when I was in school. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Folks, if you can get through the boring stuff with myself, trust me, these guys will have plenty to talk about later on. So
Most definitely.
That's if you're a first-time listener, this is a part of the segment that talks about headlines from last week whenever I do the talking.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So-
We'll get that.
So for the people in the chat that's tuning in the first time and fans of Mr. Jake down there.
Y'all be patient.
Taylor Dare of St. Ed's has a night to remember in Texas with 4 total touchdowns, 6 receptions for 125 yards, a kickoff return for a touchdown, 2 on the ground, 1 receiving. So what a night for Taylor Dare at the Catholic Bowl representing St. Ed's. 4 scores that night.
That was one of the best games I've ever seen them play. And they went to Texas, and they showed them what Louisiana was all about.
Right.
I'm talking about.
How about love for the kickers for a second? We got to see this young man play in person last week. How about Ross Cortez from Basile, now 10 for 10 on extra points? Let's just throw a little love in for a kicker there.
Got to do that, man. When I say accurate, I don't think it was left or right. I think everyone that he kicked was right down the middle.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful technique, everything. Great job.
Yes, St. Ed's did win. How about Ruston? The big boys in 5A they played Jesuit last week. Ruston sacks Jesuits quarterback on the very last play to seal a 28-23 win. What a game that must have been. What an atmosphere that must have been.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know that. I mean, watching, that's how we beat Kaplan, if y'all remember.
Yes.
Last play of the game, we sacked them, man. That was a great feeling. So that's awesome stuff.
Yeah, at any point, if y'all want to jump in, go for it. Zachary's win streak now up to 18 games following the John Curtis lopsided win. They handled business against a good Curtis football team. It might be the best team in the state of Louisiana.
I was
My,
best team in the state of Louisiana and the best uniforms in the state of
Yeah.
Louisiana.
You're
man.
right.
I tell you.
John Curse was not too happy near the end about that game either. I tell you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Zachary's a team that has built itself up to be a dynasty. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. They don't, rebuild. They reload. I mean, they're unbelievable.
D1 talent swarming the field.
That's right.
Crazy, man.
All the way.
How about Stephen Fitzhugh? You might know Coach Fitzhugh down there at OCS with Ouachita Christian, Jake. He wore his 97 championship ring to teach his club a lesson in adversity. And let me tell you, OCS heard him loud and clear with the win over Oak Grove.
Absolutely.
So little things like that coaches can just pull out and bring the best out of their team.
That's why high school football is the best, man. I have several friends that coach in college. They tried to get me to go up to the college level, and I always chose to coach high school because it's
That championship team,
You good?
Quincy fell victim the second round. I'll just leave it at that.
oh wow. That's who we lost to when we made the playoffs when I was in high school.
Well, they were good.
That was 2001 when they had Rudy Newswanger and
Yes.
Brandon Hurley. Some big boys, man.
Absolute country field.
All right, we're back. How about the Trey Holly Show lives on another week, on pace to break the record. 4 touchdowns, 260 yards over 5A airline.
Well, let me tell you something. Trey Holly's awesome, and he puts the work in. That kid's a workhorse in the weight room. I know that for a fact. I saw it firsthand. But you talk about those 350-pound offensive linemen he got in front of him,
Yeah,
man.
you're right.
I mean, my game plan literally was everybody line up in a gap on the inside shoulder and chop outwards and make a pile. And that part was working for the most part because to go straight up with these guys, there's few high school football teams, 1A through 5A, that can hang with an offensive line of that size. And those big boys can move, man. And they'll go foot to foot, and they'll run the veer, then all of a sudden something will pop loose. So, I mean, that state championship game between Union Parish and Sterlington last year was one of the best football games I've watched in a long
Oh,
time.
yeah, we enjoyed that game for sure.
We were there.
It
most
came
definitely.
down to an instant replay in high school football. I don't know if y'all remember that part.
Yes.
And I think the coach from Union got so frustrated about it he couldn't refocus on the game, and then next thing you knew, the game was over. But that's two awesome teams, man. I think Union might have it this year.
He did a little bit of everything that night.
Man, you ain't lying.
Most definitely. A little bit of everything.
Yep.
Trey Holly is the truth.
Acadiana debuts brand new all black uniforms. How sweet did they look?
I thought they looked pretty good.
I have not yet seen them, but
You ain't seen them after the show? Go check them out. You saw it?
No, it's kind of one of those things. I'm the only one in my family that didn't go to Acadiana High, so I know the tradition there. It's kind of like if somebody puts a logo on the Notre Dame helmet, it'd be a big old deal. But, I mean, look, man, it's 2022. Whatever gets the kids excited,
yeah.
you got to do it. And after a loss, I remember y'all talking about it last week, you felt sorry for whoever Acadiana played.
Next.
And, you know,
Were we right?
yes. I mean, that was just you just can't say enough about LCA, man. They're just that good, I guess.
I agree.
But Acadiana, it's not like they're not good anymore, man. I mean, that's a hell of a program. Coach McCullough and his whole staff, they know what they're doing. They got the Veer coached up very well. Those kids been running the Veer since they were in diapers. I mean, that's the first offense I ever ran. You know, we ran it at Scott Middle, we ran it at Judy's Middle, and everybody comes together and we just keep running it.
Back to the feeder program.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beer.
That's it.
Well, the Ouachita Parish beats Neville for the first time since 2010. How sweet did that feeling feel for that program?
Huge. But
People-
I'm just surprised it happened because, I mean, this is Neville we're talking about, but, I mean.
Tell you what, they got a
Parish must be-
talented tailback in that backfield for Ouachita Parish. If you have not seen the highlights from that game, go check them out.
You know, Coach Moyes from that area, and we talk about Sterlington and Ouachita Christian, West Monroe, all those teams up there. People from around here know rivalries, but up there, if you go to one school, you don't talk to the people from the other school, man. It's that much of a rivalry. So if you go to I promise you that was a big win, and those kids are going to talk about that for a long time.
Next up, how about the three-headed monster from Church Point goes for 5 touchdowns and 400-plus yards on Thursday night against Kinder? What can you say about that backfield?
All you can say is wow, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's okay. You want to run it a little while, okay? Then you want to do it. It's like pick your poison.
You got 2 bowling balls, and then you got a speed threat out of this world. Church Point out of the shotgun this year. Can you believe it, Jake and Kip?
Well,
I mean, it's not your traditional shotgun. It's a power run out of the downhill football. Jet
I'll say
hard, man.
it's kind of a surprise, but Coach Poole is a defensive coordinator. You know, he's a wing T guy, but he's also likes to spread. And when we were at Lafayette High together, we would talk about it all the time. I was like, you can run wing T plays out of the spread. You know, you can run the buck sweep, you can run power, you can run all that stuff out of the spread if you want to call it the spread. I mean, you could do the same thing, just put the quarterback in the gun, and if you have an athletic quarterback, it's even better. So if I had to guess, I haven't talked to him. This is just me knowing Coach Poole. I'm pretty sure they sat down and he gave his ideas, and Coach Arsenault, you know, probably to his credit, he kept an open mind. And sometimes you just have to look at your personnel, man. Like me at Abbeville, I was a 4-2-5 guy coaching under Doug. I got to Abbeville, I said, we're going to run the 3-4 defense here, and then we're going to modify it from there, and week to week we're going to change it and try to get as much speed on the field as possible.
Right.
So as a coach, you have to look at your personnel and say, okay, I might need to change things up a little bit, keep your base scheme in place, and if the shotgun is what it takes to win at Church Point this year, then this year I'll guarantee you they'll stay in that shotgun.
Liberty Magnet, LSU running back commit sidelined with an injury for 6 to 8 weeks. So keep an eye out on that program moving forward, losing one of their key players.
Yeah, that was a shock.
How about Southwood and Elton, both off to 2-0 starts for the first time in some time. So congratulations to those two programs off to great starts. And those were two of those teams that were on lengthy losing streaks, turned it around this year. We spoke about North Central earlier. These two were in the same conversation, but now look at them off the 2-0 starts. So stick to the plan, trust the process, and now look at them.
Great to see Elton back in the win column.
How about Westminster's quarterback George sets new record for completions in a game, and Tyler Dejon sets a new record for receptions in the game. So congratulations to Westminster for those two accomplishments
Most definitely.
from last week. We got 19 undefeated teams playing this week in high school football. What a great week 3 it is. We got 19 undefeateds. But Oakdale's Cedric Allison rushed for 23 attempts, 301 yards, 4 touchdowns. So congratulations on a heck of a night from Oakdale's number 10.
Way to go out there, Mikey. Good job.
Marksville's 2012 team to be honored at halftime this week. So that's something I wanted to share. Also, Gage Hildrich from East Beauregard, 280 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns. So a big night for those programs.
I've had the chance to see Gage Hildreth in person. That kid's a bowling ball, man. He's a bull. My gosh.
So that is what I have for headlines. Did I miss any? I know there's a
Pretty
lot
good.
more out there, but this is what I have for this week. Y'all got anything before we move along?
No, let's pick
We're
some
good.
games, brother.
So at this time, we're going to shift gears and we're going to go to our pick'em side of the show. But before we get to our pick'em side, our picks are sponsored by Daryl's and the Crawfish House. Daryl's, no description at this moment, but we want to say thank you for joining the Under the Lights program this today. So I'll have it ready to go for tomorrow's game. So thank you so much to Daryl's down there. And Jake, you know more about Daryl's than we do. Sandwich shop down there in what, Lake Charles Sulphur area?
Lake Charles, right there off of 210 exit, right there off of McNee Street. Some of the best po' boys you'll ever have. I'd highly recommend the Surf and Turf and the Darryl Special. My gosh, it stays packed. It's a Lake Charles secret.
Good. You put their logo on the screen, Keith? Okay. And then next up will be the Crawfish House right here in Opelousas, Louisiana. Crawfish House and Grill, located at 1214 South Union Street in Opelousas, Louisiana, now under new ownership. Come dine with them for some great Cajun hospitality and cuisine. Now featuring happy hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tell them that Under the Lights sent you by. So that is our sponsors leading into our game picks. So, apologize for the service issues, but it seems like everyone's still here with listening to our voices, so that's a big plus. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into some game picks. If you would like to follow along in the chat, you have that opportunity to do so. Just leave your picks in the comments, follow along, and we'll see how we do this week. Guest picker last week, Seth Johnson, won week 2 of high school picks. Week 1, guest picker and Gary were tied for first. Can the guest picker come and steal the show this week? Ready to see what's in store. Jake, first time making picks. Let's see where his head is leaning. Gary, we now have a good familiarity of these teams 3 weeks in, so we shouldn't be making some terrible picks this week.
I sure hope not.
You
'Cause
never
I'll
know,
tell you what,
man.
the last 2 weeks was tough.
Yeah.
All right. Anything we got before we get this ball rolling?
Let's roll.
Jake, we're going to start on your side, and we're going to work our way down of making these picks. All right, Thursday night football, ladies and gentlemen. Opelousas Catholic and Port Barry meet down the OG track. Couple of 0-2 teams looking for that first victory of the season. OC comes in with a veteran program and a lot of talent on that team that can make a push for a title run down the road. So you got to put that in perspective. Does Port Barry have enough on their sideline and to compete with a really good OC football team this week? That would be the question mark. Home opener for the Red Devils. Jake, kick us off.
Man, I'm sorry, man. OC, it's a little too much firepower. I think Port Barry will keep it close for a quarter, but OC, man.
Gary?
Hurts me to say it, but I think OC's got too much talent. They're a senior-based team right now. They got a lot of experience. Port Barry is young right now. They're rebuilding, and they're just really young. So I got to go with OC.
Kip?
Man, believe it or not, I would love to pick Port Barry at this point. Got Coach Brent Angel, Coach Longclaw over there at Port Barry. They've been there for a while. I mean, look, man, when I was in high school, this was a big rivalry. Port Barry won the state championship 2 of the 4 years I was in high school. Andrew Roban, Henderson Keys, Jerome Pickney, all those guys.
Now you speaking some names.
Yeah, you know.
You speaking gods in Port Barry, man.
Marvin White.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's some monsters, man. But it's not that they're not there. It's just I don't know what's going on. But I think maybe week one. I mean, the first quarter, it might be close for a little while. But I think with that flex bone, OC's just going to run fullback dive about 1 million times and just kind of eat up the clock and get that win and get out of town.
There you go. And it's going to be 4 across the board. Like we said, veteran Opelousas Catholic football team. You got to think they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder after the 0-2 start.
Right.
But 2 quality opponents they've played the first 2 weeks have just put them in a way where they're going to be a tough force to reckon with come Thursday night.
Most definitely. And barring any injuries, I think they're going to make a run.
Next up, it is 0-2 Catholic in New Iberia against 1-1 ERAF. ERAF is 1 play away from being 2-0 right now. If you think back to the Lowerville game, Lowerville scored in the final 30 seconds. So how good is this ERAF football team? That's more to tell at a later date. But Catholic in New Iberia, we just talked about the chip on your shoulder. Can they find a way to go pull off a road win here? That's what we're going to debate here. And, Jake, you have the floor.
Man, I tell you, Catholic New Iberia has a lot of rich tradition. When Coach Indes was there, I still think they have, they have it in them. But, man, something about that ERAF team. Like you said, they're 1 play away from being 2-0. Had the chance to watch Quincy play ERAF last year. They come down to us, and they're very explosive, man, run that spread offense. That the quarterback is a heck of an arm. ERAF at home, man, I'm going to go ERAF, man.
Gary?
I'm going ERAF also. I think the home field advantage is going to give them that little edge that they need. Like you said, they're 1 play away from really being 2-0, and I think they're going to come back fighting off of that. That's going to be in the back of their mind.
Kip?
Yep. Coach at Catholic High, New Iberia. If you would have called me on Monday, I could have told you how to beat them. But since you didn't, I'm going with ERAF.
All right.
There you go.
There you go.
I guarantee you, man. It's they got some good kids that are returning. So Coach Boo, Coach LeBlanc, good luck. I think ERAF's going to win it.
Yep, I like ERAF myself. I think this is a really good football team that a lot of people need to keep an eye out on moving forward. So give me ERAF in this one, and we're going to go across the board, fellas. The next matchup, it is 0-2 Hamilton Christian, 1-0 Welsh. Who could have had a bigger week 2 win than the Welsh Greyhounds going to Westlake and taking down Westlake in that matchup? We're riding high with Welsh with that momentum win. Am I correct, or were we thinking differently?
First, I'll tell you, for Welsh to go into Westlake, look, you don't just go into Max Caldeira Stadium and beat the Westlake Rams like that. Coach Richardson does a heck of a job over there. But in all honesty, I think Welsh won that game just a little more for obvious reasons. But as far as Hamilton Christian, I'm not sure what's going on over there. Dropped back-to-back games, significant score.
It's one of those
Welsh,
tell me games this
right.
week, huh?
I think Welsh continues their success. I think Welsh will pull it off.
Okay, Gary.
I'm going with Welsh also. I think their home field advantage, and I think they're playing on all cylinders right now, and it's going to be a big test, though.
We're going to eventually disagree with each other. It's coming. Just stay tuned. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with Welsh, man. That's just, I don't know too much about either team, like in depth, but I know what Welsh has done in the past. I know what they got going on this year. It's like you said, apparently they got some kids with some heart. So I'm going with Welsh.
Yeah, you got to think about it. A confidence win can take this team a long way from last week. And if you come and win your home opener this week, where would this team go moving forward? I mean, they just fell into Division IV public bracket, so watch out for this Greyhound football team.
You're right.
Yep.
So across the board for the Welsh Greyhounds this week. How about Iota and Crawley? Crawley, huge upset win last week over Northwest. It's hard to call it an upset when you go into week 2, but we all went across the board picking Northwest. It was at Northwest and a 21-20 victory there for the Gents. So, I mean, you look at it, Crawley, they have confidence out of the roof right now. Can they repeat a second week of just going shock the world type of mentality? It won't be easy because they got Iota coming in, and you're talking about a pissed off Bulldog football team.
Yep.
It's the
Yes.
Iota Bulldogs, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
They're coming in 0-2, and they're in unfamiliar territory because of what we've seen the last few years from this Iota football team. So, with that said, I think it's going to be Iota's night to shine this week, and they get in the win column.
I got to agree with you. I'll tell you what, and Iota was one play away from being 1-1.
That's right.
Late in the game against
Right.
St. Louis last week. I don't know if y'all watched the film, but and not knocking St. Louis, that is a really good football team. I knew that was going to be a neck and neck game, but you're right. Iota's coming in angry, and I think they're going to take their frustration out on their parish rival.
Yep.
I'm going Iota, too. I think Iota's going to be just a little too hungry, and look out.
I'm going with Iota. Coach Ray Oquan is going to get his first win as a head coach. I know these kids at Iota. I mean,
4 seniors.
truth be told, the offer was on the table for me to go there, but I chose the off field, and it was a very hard decision to make because I know a lot of those parents. Shout out Cliff Doucette, but those are good kids, man. I promise you, they don't know they're 0-2. They're not the kind of kids that if they're down, they're going to shut down. They got some fighters on that team. They have some good coaches on that staff. And Coach Ray Oquan and company, they're going to have those kids ready to play, and they're going to get their first win of the season. But it's like you said, it's not going to be easy, man. Crowley got some talent. They got some guys on that football team that do track. I've watched those guys from Crowley damn near jump out the sand pit on long jump.
Yeah.
You're right on that.
We beat them, forgot what it was, 45-12 last year. But it's not like,
Beat a lot of teams last year
well, yeah.
Y'all did.
with that team.
And it wasn't the lack of talent they had. It was just it was the mistakes they would make. So if they could ever just hold on to the football or stay more organized throughout 4 quarters, Crowley could be a hard team to beat, man.
Yep, I'm going to go with Iota also. I think they start to get the thing rolling right this week. And moving forward, they're going to look back at these first 2 weeks, learn a lot about the program, and I think Iota gets it rolling this week. All right, next matchup, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show where we turn things over to Miss Holly herself. Ladies and gentlemen, your lock of the week is... Lock of the week this week for Miss Holly Revere goes to Acadiana over New Iberia Senior High. So Holly Revere says lock of the week, go with Acadiana, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go ahead and say thank you, Miss Holly, for your lock of the week. She's 1-1 right now thanks to the heartbreak loss to Northwest last week. But she might get this thing rolling in the right direction, folks. So keep this going. Great segment there for Lock of the Week. Acadiana over Nish this week for Holly. Jake?
Fear the Veer.
Fear the Veer? Short and sweet, huh?
Same here. Acadiana, Wrecking Rams, fear the Veer.
Yep. I like this matchup, though. I mean, it reminds me of being a kid. Acadiana and Nish were in the same district. Mark Roman from New Iberia, you know, I don't know if y'all remember them days. But, I mean, definitely I'm going with Acadiana, but I just like to see these two teams playing each other, man. Brings back memories for me.
Yep, Fear de Veer, Acadiana. Back-to-back weeks, expect that offense to explode.
I think so.
Next up, St. Martinville and Bridge tackled this week. Do you know a little bit about this matchup and how big it is for both communities?
Absolutely.
You got St. Martinville. They're in unfamiliar territory starting out 0-2. They were a semifinal football team a year ago, so now can they turn the page and get back to Tiger football whenever they're going to take a trip down the Bridge this week? And new head football coach doing great things out the gate over there with Bridge. It's 0-2. It's 1-1. St. Martinville, Bridge. Who gets the victory in this one?
Tell you what, St. Martinville is they're in a little uncomfortable situation being 0-2. I did not expect them to be 0-2. But very hungry nonetheless. I think they're gonna go down to Bridge and edge them. St. Martinville.
There's few head coaches I respect more than Coach Vince Derwin. I think he's what a real high school football coach should be, man. As a coach, I played him 7 years in a row, and it was always my favorite game of the season, no matter what, because you knew exactly what you were going to get. It was always an old school, hard-nosed football game. I'm sure a lot of people right now are saying they're 0-2 because they lost Tanner Harrison, the quarterback from last year. But I could promise you.
They played two respectable programs.
That's right.
First 2 weeks
That's
also.
right. It's not a cupcake schedule. So, you know, I'm going with St. Martinville. It's a huge rivalry game, but I know that Coach Vince and his coaching staff, I mean, he brings his coaching staff with him everywhere he goes. He's a class act. He'll get this rolling, man. You know, like I said, they still have a lot of talent. They have a lot of guys returning, and once they get one win, especially a rivalry win, St. Martinville should be rolling.
Gary?
I'm going to go with Bridge.
Right, Mr. I'm leading the pack in picks
I'm-
the last
yeah.
2 weeks.
Oh, by a lot, by the way.
By a lot. The overall standings, Mr. Gary is way ahead. So we're going to get one back this week on him right there.
Bridge is going to make y'all eat y'all words, man. Home field advantage.
Gary, I have to disagree and say St. Martinville, they get their offense rolling in a big-time fashion this week. So I don't know if Bridge has enough to keep up with them.
Well,
On the
we'll see.
scoreboard.
We'll see.
That's why they have to play the game.
Right. You're right.
Next up, it's a big one. I mean, how big can a 1A and a 5A type of game actually get?
Well,
When you don't usually say, man, a 1A playing a 5A, that's a huge game you got to keep an eye out for. Have we ever talked about that before? Has that ever come into the same sentence?
no.
Not really.
Yes, I remember last year when St. Ed's beat Natchitoches Central, I was shocked,
Right.
you know.
But if anybody can do it, you got this team right here. So it's just going to be this is a toss up for me.
We talked about Calvary Baptist. Hats off for the 9-district schedule
Yeah.
Most
of
definitely.
what they have went through these last 2 weeks and now week 3. How about 1-1 Calvary Baptist taking the troops on the road to go take on 2-0 CE Bird? Jake, you like this matchup a lot.
Absolutely.
Can Calvary Baptist go pull off the upset of the, I guess you can call Century in this nature? But CD Bird is a darn good football team, and when you talk about your top 10 in a little while, you know this team here could be playing for the big dance later on also. 2 respectable programs. Does Calvary Baptist have enough in depth to even stay in this game?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the game that the city of Shreveport, the whole city of Shreveport is going to be in attendance. Lee Hedges Stadium at the Hive, they call it. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say I thought a few years ago Calvary had maybe upset them. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Probably
Or maybe it was
probably
Captain Shreve.
Probably before Bird got their train rolling.
Right.
Since 2020, holy cow.
Right. Calvary is just one of those programs that they don't rebuild, they reload. Bird, on the other hand, I'll tell you, from that state runner-up season a couple years ago, I still don't see them slowing down. They're consistent. Calvary lost some key players from last year. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going to be a blowout by any means. This is going to be one of those games, might come down to whoever has the ball last near the end. Man, it's tough to pick, but I'm going to go Bird. The Hive is going to be live.
Yeah, you got offense versus defense here for sure.
Right.
Gary?
I think Bird's depth is going to wear him down, and so I got to go with Bird.
A very good point. You would agree? When
Well,
you have that big of a of classifications separate?
I don't know, man. It all depends on. Well, first thing is there's not going to be an empty seat, so they got that atmosphere. Second thing is Bird looking down on these guys? Are they walking around having like, oh, that's the little brother, I'm not worried about him, and the little brother punches you in the mouth one day, and you're like, whoa, he grew up.
That's when you get caught.
So I'm going with the small school, man. Let's just see what happens.
There you go. There's your first one of the night. I told you folks it was coming, and Coach is going to kick us off with Calvary Baptist going on the road and taking down Bird. I like the pick. I can't put my confidence into that right now. I got to go with Bird. Coach, I had 18 losses last week. I got to go with the favorite here.
You know, if those parents load them up with liquid IV and Gatorade and start hydrating them now, those kids might not cramp up in the fourth quarter, man. So who knows?
There you go. Next up, we had Friday Night Football. So there it is, our Thursday. All right, Friday Night Football, our first three games are some 0-2 teams looking for their first win. We all said it earlier. North Central gets their first win this week over Thrive Academy. Are we all in agreement?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Come on, North Central.
We believe in you guys. Come on,
Canes.
Come on, Hurricanes. Go get it done. You're playing at home. You get the first win this week. We think so.
Is it their homecoming this week?
Once y'all taste that first win, get another one, man. I mean, that's how it starts.
You got to have one before you get two.
Y'all got 8 games left, man. Let's just be honest. You can win 5 games in y'all bracket, and y'all will go into the playoffs at 0-10, 1-9. So if you go 5-5 or 4-6, dude, once you get in the playoffs, everybody got the same record. That's what Coach Dotrieve used to say. And y'all have the talent. And now y'all have the coaches from what these guys are telling me. I mean, I've always thought North Central, man, was just got it. It's just somebody got to go there and get it going.
Right.
I think it might start on Friday night.
We'll definitely keep a close eye out on that one for sure. How about 0-2 South Bow coming into the Quincy, Louisiana. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Jake, non-biased here. Why does South Bow go in and beat y'all?
Well,
set him up. He wasn't waiting on that.
you had asked that question, didn't you?
Yep.
Well, I tell you, South Beauregard over the last several years, they've had some really good teams. They've come a long way.
Yep.
Coach Hudler does a great job over there.
When you put out the list the other day on Twitter, when did they drop 70 on y'all?
I don't want to talk about that. That was 2019.
Okay, so not that long ago, South Beauregard, the Quincy rivalry.
Yeah,
it's there.
It's been back and forth for years. 2 schools separated by not maybe 13, 15 miles. South Bow's hungry. They've played. They ran into a really good DeRidder and Rose Pine team. Quincy ran a really good Westlake team and went down to Lowerville and just did not play the best. But the Quincy at home, hungry for a win. I don't see the Quincy losing to South Bow. I really don't. I don't see our guys going 0-3.
Emotional.
We're hungry. They're hungry. I'm talking with the kids this week. They've had a great week of practice.
Jake, strap up.
And so, DeQuincy.
Strap up and go play, Jake.
No. Has been.
Gary?
Man, I'm, DeQuincy went to Loreauville, and I mean, most people that go to Loreauville
Don't come out of it.
and all that. I think the home field is going to give him a little advantage, so I'm going to go with DeQuincy too.
Coach?
Same, DeQuincy.
Yeah, I think DeQuincy is going to pretty much wear him down for 4 quarters. Playing that physical brand of football. So give me DeQuincy first win of the season. This might be the time to turn things around, Jake. Might be the thing where they start to roll and have a little win streak going into district. So
I hope so.
we'll keep an eye out on DeQuincy for sure.
It'd be nice rolling rolling on the win streak going in district.
All right, a couple of 0-2 teams here. You got Kaplan and LaGrange battling it out in LaGrange for their first win of the year. Can Kaplan basically just ball control the whole night and just keep the ball from LaGrange? I know you talk about
Man.
LaGrange, they're explosive. So I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what's going on. I'm surprised to see Kaplan at 0-2 because they returned a good bit of kids, and last year whenever we
that
shut
was that North Vermillion last minute
Yep.
touchdown, and then Berwick must be the real deal this year too.
yeah,
Just-
Berwick's always up and down.
Right.
But I mean, we had to really stop Caden Campese last year. He was a hell of a fullback, and in the wing T, the fullback's the key. But number 25, Clement, man, he's one of the fastest kids in the state, and we saw that during track season, and he was hard to stop. So I mean, I'm definitely picking Kaplan, and also want to say,
Coach, I didn't even think you would pick him.
but
for that
I'm gonna
rivalry game.
I'm gonna also say this,
That's somebody that's not picking with his heart right there, Gary.
He's picking with
Good luck, Coach Corey Brody. If y'all want to see that Russo trophy, it's sitting on Coach Ashley's desk, and we got it polished up nice, but it's staying in Abbeville.
I like that.
I tell you what, week 10 is going to be something special again to go cover that game.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Jake?
Man, I've seen LaGrange in person. We played them in DeQuincy played them in the Jamboree.
Tell me about him.
Very explosive.
Okay.
They're big kids. It seems like just over the years the culture is just not quite there. Coach Wilson does a phenomenal job. He's slowly getting them back to where they need to be. But I'm with y'all. I'm still scratching my head seeing how in the world Kaplan is 0-2. But home opener in the Swamp. Man, give me Kaplan. I'm sorry.
I was going to write it on the other side. Okay. Gary?
I'm going with Kaplan too.
This is the 3rd week in a row we've picked Kaplan. In the first 2 weeks, they've let us down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all didn't mention the Russo trophy. I did, so I got him fired up. I can promise you.
So does this mean 3rd time's a charm?
I think so.
All right, 3rd time's a charm. Pirates go on the road and get a win, a gritty win at the Swamp. I'm going to call it. Next up, it is Washington Marion and Cecilia Bulldogs. 2-point loss to Southside, or they would be 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
Washington Marion, I don't know if they can keep up on the scoreboard that night. Cecilia, and that's a darn good football team.
Yeah, you talked about, Cecilia losing, but they still get power points for that.
Playing up.
So that also goes back to my Calvary Baptist bird. Calvary Baptist has nothing to lose. There's a 1A school playing a 5A. They're going to get a ton of power points no matter what.
Yes.
So if you win that game, you get even more. So Cecilia, that one loss, look, man, it's a win. I mean, it was a tough loss, but you still get the
It
points.
shows what type of program they are because
Yes.
of how close and
Yes.
how much they competed there.
I mean, I'm definitely going with Cecilia. Matt Autry is a good friend of mine. I like the town of Cecilia. You talked about that St. Martinville Brobridge rivalry. St. Martinville, Brobridge, Cecilia, those are 3 tough football teams year in and year out, no matter what. And it's always a good game. But I think Cecilia is going to win this game and many more for this season, to be honest.
Right.
Good pick, my friend.
Yeah,
Jake?
Man, I'd be lying to you if I told you I was not surprised at how Northside manhandled Washington Marion. I did not expect that at all. they got some tough, gritty players on Pineview Street in North Lake Charles over there, but give me Cecilia.
Gary?
I'm going Cecilia also.
It's going to be Cecilia across the board. Bulldogs, keep an eye out for that program.
Yep.
Where they will be when this one all finishes down there, and we say the Thanksgiving and the semifinal weeks. So we'll see how far this team can actually go. Next up, 0-2 Ville Platte and 1-1 Oakdale. A lot to talk about here. You talked about Coach earlier. So you got Oakdale and Ville Platte, very explosive Ville Platte team and
Yes.
a very physical Oakdale team. What's the difference in this one? Who gets this win? Big statement win from Oakdale last week, and can Ville Platte get that first one off
Well,
of the back shoulder?
y'all were at the game, and that first half was not what Basile was expecting. I could promise you, because you looked at Ville Platte last year getting blown out 74-0 and stuff like that. Head coach of Ville Platte, I don't know who you are, but having Kevin Manuel call you defense and Doug Guillory call you offense, dude, that's a great thing you did right there. So you got Coach Doug Guillory at Ville Platte calling the offense. He's from Ville Platte.
Right.
Where Coach Doug made his name, Oakdale High. Because when I was at OC, they won district. He was the head coach at Oakdale. Then he came to OC when Dotrieve left. So there's not many times. And when I was at OHS, we went to Oakdale and we beat them. And I could promise you, Coach Doug's going to let him know this is the house that Doug Guillory built, and I'm not coming here to lose. So I'm going with Ville Platte because I'm telling y'all, man, it's a matter of time before this team gets rolling. They got talent. They have tough kids. And they have a couple of coaches there that's going to get those kids believing that they're good enough.
There you go.
And they are. They have talent.
Okay.
Coach, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Oakdale, something about Oakdale, man, that's a tough place to play for some reason.
It is.
Of course, when these two meet, it's always a really good game.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, it's somewhat of a rivalry. My stepbrother used to play for Oakdale, so he told me they'd always get up when it was Ville Platte week, they called it.
Mhm.
I tell you, man, after watching what Oakdale did last week to Oberlin, Cedric Allison, my gosh.
Very impressive.
He's something else, I'll tell you. I think Oakdale out-physicals them. I really do.
That is possible.
I don't think it would be a blowout. It's going to be close. It's going to be a one-score game. Give me Oakdale at home.
So it's going to be one team controlling the ball. That's what you're saying. And the other team's just going to be explosive, scoring fast.
Kind of like what we saw this past week
Yep.
with Basile.
I got to agree with that. I think Oakdale, I'm going to tell you, Mikey, I know Mikey, and I know you know Mikey.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey's been, not only a good friend, but I've watched Mikey grow up in his coaching career and everything like that, and I think he's doing a great job out there. But, man, we watched Ville Platte, and I think their explosiveness is going to be something that they're going to have to be careful of. But I think Oakdale's going to control the game, wear them out a little bit, and I think they're going to edge it out at the end.
And Mikey played for Doug. That's cool, man. So that's
Mikey
kind of
knows
cool,
that.
man. So that's a good experience for him. And shout out to him, man. He is getting that program rolling in Oakdale. I like old Mikey.
Former Viking.
That's right.
Also Louisiana College.
That's right.
Player. And also one of my students, martial artist that can kick and punch and do everything too.
Yep. So I think
as well as pick up a house.
That's right.
I think 4 quarters of just physical football, a game that could be won in the trenches. I think Oakdale has that favor now, but you got to think Doug gets that team to the physical presence before this year's over with.
Nobody's going to know what I'm talking about, but Doug, it's time to break out the Jonas package, man. And if y'all don't know what it is, if he breaks it out Friday night, you're going to know as soon as you see it.
There you go.
It's a no-huddle offense, man. I hope you break it out, dude, because they're not going to stop it.
Next up, we'll scratch that one.
Mm-hmm. Iota.
Next up, Pope John Paul II taking on Delcom. Delcom looking for their second win of the season, come in at home in this one. Who do we like in this one? Does Pope John go pull off a road win, or is Delcom too strong at home?
Give me Delcom.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Delcom too. It's like y'all talked about earlier. They having they kind of running on high emotions. It's their house again, so they're gonna keep that going. Shout out Coach Damian Broussard. I always liked Delcom High School for some reason. Going back to Doug, he always said it was a gold mine. I don't think it's a gold mine, but I do think as for the division they're in and the talent they're able to not get stolen from Nish or whatever. I think Delcom's a solid program, man. So with that being said, I'm going with Delcom.
Gary?
I'm gonna give them the edge. Home field advantage. I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, Delcom, big win at home this week. I think they get it done. And like we said last week, that's a team to keep a close eye out on moving forward. So we'll see where they're at moving forward. So Delcom across the board. Right. Next up, Westminster Christian Academy of Opelousas takes on 2-0 Hanson Memorial. Last year we covered this game, Gary Swallow, and what a thriller it was. Can it live up to the hype of what it was last year? It very well could be. But this Hanson Memorial football team just beat Delcom last week. Mm-hmm. So what is our thoughts on this one? Can Westminster get into the win column this week? It's going to be hard. They go into an undefeated, confident football team with Hanson Memorial. Jake, talk to us.
You know, I kind of like Hamilton Christian.
Hanson Memorial.
No, I know. I said kind of like Hamilton Westminster. I'm still scratching my head. Not quite sure why they're 0-2, but
two quality opponents.
Yeah, Hanson Memorial's. I'm very impressed with them. I was impressed with them last year, and I'm still impressed with them. They're at home. Give me Hanson Memorial.
Gary?
I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm giving Hanson the edge because it's at home, and that's the only reason I'm picking them right now. If it would have been at Westminster, I'd have picked Westminster.
Kip?
Well, you look at, you talked about how exciting it was last year. That was Coach Travis Blaze's first year. Yeah. So he has a whole entire offseason teaching these kids his offense. And his offense it's not that it's complicated. It's just it takes time to install. He's a great play caller, and he has a thick playbook. So I think these kids with a little more experience, that 0-2, I mean, I wouldn't read too much into it. I'm going with Westminster.
Westminster at Hanson Memorial this year, does it live up to last year's? Because we got it on the pedestal from last year.
Oh, it was awesome.
I think I'm going to roll with Hanson Memorial this week, Gary. I think home field, close win. I think the emotion of Hanson Memorial right now, they're just playing at an all-time high. So I think Hanson Memorial pulls off a close one in the end.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Next up, Independence versus Catholic of Point Capee. You're talking about a football team that can beat you up front. It is Catholic of Point Capee. Coach, Independence, throw the 0-2 record away. That's a really good football team that's explosive. Talked to some people earlier. They said, don't look at 0-2 Independence. This game is going to be 48 minutes. So we're going to talk about it. This is a home game for Catholic of Point Capee. You know what style the Hornets play with. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep the ball for 46 minutes if I have to.
Right. That's right.
So Jake, Catholic or Independence?
Apologize for that, my Lord. I'll tell you, man, Independence has some athletes.
Yes.
They've had some.
They play in that A-Meat district,
right,
correct?
Right, yes. A-Meat, Kentwood, yeah. I think they'll keep it close early on, but I'll tell you, Catholic Point Capee's, they run the Veer, the wing where they run it?
Good old-fashioned football.
Yeah, good old-fashioned smash.
Ground and pound, they're gonna pound it down their throat.
That's right.
Give me Catholic Point Capee.
Back pull.
Yeah, I'm going with Coach Vinny Belair and the Hornets, Catholic Point Capee. That area, man, has a lot of talent, and over the years, I just kind of wondered because when I was in high school and graduated in '01, so I'm not that old, but Catholic High Point Capee was a 2A school. Now it's a 4A school, right?
1A.
Oh, it's 1A.
1A, sir.
Oh, I'm thinking of Livonia. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So, but they got the right coaches in there, and over the years, Coach Vinny, since he left Westminster and went there, man, Catholic High Point Capee's been rolling.
Yeah.
And
You got Semino that's coaching at Catholic of Baton Rouge now. So one great coach leaves and another great coach comes in.
that's right. So I go with Catholic Point Capee. That's my pick.
Yeah, it's tough to play 48 minutes of somebody that's just going to punch you in the mouth
That's
over
right.
and over again.
Right.
Yeah. Wears you down.
Ball control offense plus no turnovers.
Yeah, that's big.
Very important. on
Catholic
that.
Point Capee wins the game. If Catholic Point Capee turns the ball over, Coach Kip, it's going to be Independence night.
Yeah, you're right, man. Turnovers.
So give me Catholic Point Capee, Gary.
Myself. We're going to go Point Capee.
All right. Everyone was asking about Elton, and they wanted Elton in the pick show, Gary. Ladies and
Got it.
gentlemen, you got Elton in the pick show this week. They're 2-0. The buzz around that community is at an all-time high right now. They're going to hit the road and go down to Montgomery. They're searching for their first win. Ladies and gentlemen, Elton moves to 3-0 for the first time in a long time. I say 3-0.
I agree. I'm going Elton.
I agree. Something different about Elton this year. Coach Lejeune has really turned that program around. They were a couple scores away from winning a couple games last year. Got some really good talent. Montgomery's not a shabby team though. They have some athletes, strong country boys out there in the middle of the woods. But man, I tell you, Elton's hungry. They're far from done. Give me Elton.
I mean, I don't know too much about either one of these teams. Elton might win. I'm gonna pick Montgomery. Just going with my gut. One of my favorite stories about Montgomery when Coach Moy was at Gaydon, they had to play Montgomery in the playoffs, and one of his kids said, "Coach, we got to go all the way to Alabama for this game."
Oh, wow.
And he said, "Son, it's the Louisiana State playoffs." So
Yeah.
I'll pick them. I'm gonna
Okay.
pick Montgomery.
I'm going to roll with Elton. I like to see teams turn it around. It's a good feeling for that community and that school. So keep it rolling, Elton. Let's see what has in store for 2022. I'll tell you what team did not how you said it. They did not miss,
not
a,
miss
beat
a beat.
moving up in classification. It's Grand Lake. We didn't really talk much about Grand Lake coming into the season. We said, man, they're going into 2A. They're not going to be back into their state title form like they were a couple years ago. Hello. All they did the first 2 weeks is put it on two respectable programs, 40-plus each game. And I hate to say it, but they're going to put up another 40-plus this week whenever they go play Pickering.
I agree. I don't see Pickering having a chance in this game.
I tell y'all, Grand Lake, they I knew they were going to be scrappy coming this season, but they've exceeded my expectations and more. I tell people Grand Lake's the modern day South Cameron. A lot of those same people and kids, they moved up that way, and football is king in Cameron Parish, and Grand Lake is no exception. Pickering. Let me tell you, I'll credit Pickering. They hung in there tooth and nail with East Beauregard last week, put 42 points on East Bow. Of course, East Bow had 66.
Yeah.
Pickering at home, I'm sorry. Grand Lake's just going to be a tad bit too much.
Yeah, Grand Lake for me.
Grand Lake for myself also. This next one, the Pios' big road win last week over St. Martinville. Is that enough to convince you
Oh yeah.
that
Absolutely.
this next one won't even be a contest? Because when we saw Notre Dame Como on the schedule, we said Como's going to play them a lot tougher than what people think. And then Notre Dame, all they did last week was go into St. Martinville and dominate. So are we on the train now that Notre Dame, might not even be a close one?
Notre Dame is a well-oiled machine. Como will keep it close in the first quarter, but Payo's going to pull away.
Notre Dame.
Pio's roll.
Yep. Going back to that win last week, I mean, I could guarantee you, just from the coach's standpoint, like I said, man, I have a ton of respect for Coach Vince, but I guarantee you he's one of those guys that doesn't change very much. And those Pios they watch a lot of film down there.
That's some,
So
they study a lot of film.
you got Coach Gui, Coach Lou Jr. That dude's like a savant when it comes to huddle and watching film, and I guarantee you he had it dissected and he knew exactly what plays. And Coach Mack, and I mean, of course, Big Lou, Big Brim, all those guys, man. Like, if you don't change it up on them, they're gonna score points. So I'm going with Notre Dame, about 42 or 35-14.
There you go. Next up, I kind of want to just read these teams out because these records can be flipped or could be equal.
Right.
Patterson at Ascension Episcopal. So Ascension Episcopal is at an 0-2 start, unfamiliar territory. Patterson off to a great start. Are we feeding off of Patterson going into this week? Can they keep the train rolling? I mean, they're playing with confidence at an all-time high. Offense and defense is doing their job. Ascension Episcopal under brand-new head coach over there. And Plaquemine, close loss. And Vermilion Catholic just hitting on all cylinders this year. So I don't know how to read this game right now. I mean, I want to hear the panel's perspective on it. Patterson, Ascension Episcopal, we know what we would have picked last year. We know what we would have picked 2 years ago, but what are we picking this year? Is Patterson the real deal?
I mean, man,
Patterson's
I'll
under
put it
brand
to
new
you.
coaching staff.
yeah, I'm gonna put it to you like this: if Patterson gets up early, Patterson's gonna win that game handily. If Ascension gets up by 1 or 2 touchdowns, Patterson might shut down. I don't know. I don't know the kids personally, but they got some tough kids over there, and you give them any type of confidence, man, that game could get out of hand. So I think I'm going to pick Patterson, just assuming they might do something special on special teams. That's something we don't talk about very often this early in the season. But, like, if you return a kickoff or block a punt, man, that makes a big difference. And this time of year, that doesn't get practiced very much. So when you have athletes that just go get it, I mean, I think Patterson can do it. I'm going to go with Patterson at Ascension.
I'll tell you, Ascension Episcopal straight up got punched in the mouth last week. Really, the last 2 weeks. On our way back from Louisville last week, I stopped at Whataburger in Lafayette and ran to one Ascension Episcopal fan. And he told me straight up, he said, "This is not our
They're not a
standard."
sponsor, right?
He told me, he said, we straight up got punched in the mouth. And, going back watching the film on that game, I'll tell you, Ascension Episcopal had of course, it's VC they played, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ascension Episcopal still had I feel like they had a couple bad breaks in that game. Patterson, not knocking Patterson, man, they're phenomenal. Rich tradition over there, the Hilliard brothers, it's going to be close, but Ascension Episcopal's hungry. Blue Gators win at home.
Gary?
Man, I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to give Patterson the edge.
Like you said, special teams matters. And maybe the Georgia commit kicker can get get a game winner or something. So give me Ascension Episcopal at home.
So we got a split.
Splits.
First one of the night, huh?
Yeah, wow.
And back-to-back weeks, I don't pick Patterson. Watch, it burns me 2 weeks in a row.
Good possibility.
Coach, you coached at this next school,
Yeah, man.
Lake Charles College Prep at Opelousas High. Big win for the program last week. Opelousas High knocked off Natchitoches Central. That's a 5A program.
That's right, man.
So they are coming into this week confidence. Practice should be flowing in a good mindset. They should be flying around with confidence.
I hope so.
Tell me why OHS is coming into this game not worrying about those 4 letters on the other team's helmet with Lake Charles College Prep.
I mean, I think
I I know it's another team. It's just another team, and they all suit up the same way.
Yeah, I mean, look, Coach Jimmy Zachary's a OHS alumni. He has a lot of passion for the school. He came back to the school to turn it around. We got to play him last year. We walked out with the win on a muddy game, pouring down rain. But I saw a lot of young talent coming up. There was a lot of young talent on that field. I think he did the smart thing of playing those guys and giving them a year to just get comfortable. And then it paid off towards the end of the season because they made the playoffs and they won a playoff game for the first time in a long time.
Right on that.
So, Chris Esprit, shout out, Mr. Opelousas. But Coach Josh Edwards, all those guys that
Mr.
are
Opelousas
that's what they call them, man. Man, I have a special place in my heart for OHS. I love that school. But man, it's hard not to pick Lake Charles College Prep. It's just not. It's almost to the point where you're playing a small college, man. Like if we can recruit like they did, I'm gonna just flat out say it. OHS would be unstoppable. If all the kids that should go to OHS went to OHS like back in the day, OHS would have probably won a couple of state championships by now. But that's not the case. But
big area to pull from.
right. I don't like when Coach Dotree was the coach there, man. The East Junior High, Opelousas Junior High, they would all go to Opelousas High, and it's a different era. But with that being said, it's not going to be a blowout. I think OHS is going to give it a good game for 3 quarters, similar to Turlings. And probably in the fourth quarter, Lake Charles College Prep's just going to kind of pull away with it with a couple of big plays. But, my heart's with OHS, so if I get this pick wrong, I'll be happy. But I'm going with Lake Charles College Prep.
Jake?
Man, I'll tell you, after that loss, I think they lost in the last minute to Westgate last week.
Yeah, the way they played
Uh,
the
they're-
defending state champs last week.
They're coming in with a chip on their shoulder. And I'll tell you, that just the amount of talent, and not just at certain, I mean, all positions, the offensive line, the defensive linebackers, I'm just.
Hell, didn't their running back from last year get some carries from Florida this past weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
sure did.
Jennings. That's H.N.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you're talking
yeah,
about
I was thinking of H.N.
But I know you're talking about
Citizen.
Citizen. Yeah, he's
Oh,
at
Citizen.
Miami, I think. Yeah.
There you go. My fault.
Yeah. But still a really good player.
Lake Charles College Prep, Jake?
Yeah, man.
Gary?
The prep all the way.
I think the way last year ended, and everything that they got a big chip on their shoulders to where they're going to come out and prove everything. Everybody saying, "Hey, we deserve to be in the playoffs, and we're going to work towards it." And I think this is going to be one of their steps to get there.
Yep. The way Lake Charles College Prep played Westgate last week should be a writing on the wall for you of what type of football team they have over
They
there.
got some talent, man.
Like you said, it'll probably be a really good one to watch for 3 quarters and then just explosive plays.
It's going
in
to be
the
a lot
fourth
of
quarter.
Right.
track athletes on that on
Yeah.
both sides,
Yeah. And we'll see how that one unveils. Lake Charles College Prep across the board.
Really good basketball players, too.
Next up, 1-1 Beauchene, 1-1 Northwest. Right here in front of us, Gary. Who we like? You got Northwest, brand new offense. Beauchene coming off a big win. So confidence versus of gut-wrenching defeat. So take that in perspective into this week.
Man, I'm gonna start this one off. Drew. I'm gonna tell you, I think Beauchene's injuries are gonna catch up with them this week. I think the fact that they had so many people out, and yes, they had a big win last week, and but I still think Northwest is a better football team than their opponent they had last week. So I think it's going to be Northwest.
Jake?
Man, that's a tough one to pick.
Sorry to all my Beauchene friends.
Man, and I'm going to keep up with some of the injuries Beauchene has as well. I don't – I'm going to give me Northwest. I don't think it'll be a wide margin. I think, it's still going to be a relatively close game, but give me Northwest.
Coach? familiar with these two
Oh yeah,
programs?
man. This is you know, injuries or not, you don't have to hype either one of these teams up to play each other. I could promise you.
Not at all.
They both gonna get up for this one.
So Beauchene is the first place I ever coached at, man, and you know, it was a lot of hard work. But one of the guys that was there when I was there was Coach Bill Sturgis, and he's still there, and he's coaching offensive line. And I talked to him last week, and he said, "Man, it's been a long time since I had the feeling that I had on game night." I said, you know, we texting each other, and he said, "My kids just looked at me and they said, run the ball. We got this." So if you got to know Sturge, man, he's a good coach. He's old school. He's hard, but I haven't heard him talk good about an offensive line. Even when we were good, when we were there, you know, he'll wait till after the season to tell you, "Hey, man, thank you for playing hard." But I think they might have something going. I think it's not going to be talent across the board or anything like that. But I think the mentality that they're going in with, like, look, guys, we're hurt, next man up.
Yes.
So I'm predicting Beauchene to go to Northwest and get that dub.
There you go. I think, like we said, turnovers hurt Northwest last week in a big way. Is it back-to-back weeks that turnovers plays a factor? Because if turnovers plays a factor, Beauchene's going to go into Raider Stadium and win this football game.
Right.
I think they clean it up at practice this week. I think they go in focused, and I think Northwest just grinds out a win.
And
Like I said, it's going to be a four-quarter fun game to watch for sure.
I think they got that little Bergeron kid this year. It might be a senior year at middle linebacker. I remember seeing him in 8th grade, and I had a feeling he was going to be good. So if he could become a leader, now's the time to do it, buddy.
Next up will be Westlake versus Vinton. Is this a quick pick here, or are we going to debate this one? Are we Westlake across the board?
Yep.
Westlake is angry.
Okay. Next up, let's talk Abbeville and North Vermilion.
Uh-oh.
Both teams 1-1. Both teams have felt that feel. One faced last week Hail Mary for the win.
Man, I tell you.
And then one team faced Hail Mary for the loss. So you put that in perspective. I don't know how exactly you go into a practice week whenever when the players felt that emotion on both sides of the ball. So Abbeville, North Vermilion, you call it a rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanna know about this rivalry a little bit more before I make this pick. Coach, dive in.
Well, you know, anything in Vermilion Parish and look, I'm an outsider, so I could tell you, it took me a while to see this. Like, they're in their own bubble down there, man. Like you can go 1-9 at Abbeville, but if you beat Kaplan and win the Russo Trophy, it's a successful season. So for me, going in there trying to go 9-1 or 10-0 like we did, like, you know, not that I don't care about the Russo Trophy, but if we go 9-1 and lose to Kaplan, that's fine with me. But the people over there, they really want to beat the other local teams, and they don't care about anything else. So the coaches have to fight that battle, I could promise you. But Coach Moy, the head coach at Abbeville, coach at North Vermilion, Coach Tank Loteef, the defensive coordinator at Abbeville, coach at North Vermilion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they know all the families. They know they probably coach a lot of those kids' uncles and parents and all that other stuff. You know, there's a big stigma. This is my personal opinion. I'm not quoting anybody, so people on Facebook, chill. But the other schools in the parish, you know, think that North Vermilion looks down on them. They're like, we're the big school. North Vermilion is the school with all the money. They get this, they get that. And a lot of people call them the STM of Vermilion Parish. So it's not, but that's what in their world, that's how it goes. So, you know, going to Abbeville, man, look, like I said, I haven't been to school yet. I've been fighting the urge to go. I don't know what's going on. I hope that they got the chip back on their shoulder And look, it was a loss. And I went to Abbeville last week, and I saw the kids before the game, and I told them in the off season, y'all not working as hard as y'all did last year. And I think it's that they were 0-10 and 1-9 for so many years, that 9-1 season, they kind of went on cruise control. But after this loss, I hope they get that chip on their shoulder and get back into that. I got to grind every single week in and week out.
Sometimes you need that type of football game to just open your eyes again.
Yes, because they were not, in their mind, they were not worried about 1A Central Catholic. And those kids played their butts off, man. And our kids didn't give up, to their credit, but they were kind of shell-shocked, like, man, I can't believe we can't close this thing out, because they just thought they were that much better. So I hope they get back to the mentality. You know, we all laughed. I told you all the story about the defense was the Black Shirt Mafia. That all started out as a joke. Coach Moore made the offense wear red at practice and the defense wear black. And then we call it the Black Shirt defense, like Nebraska. And then we call it the Black Shirt Mafia. And then we started calling it the Dark Side. And what started off as a joke became something like basically a fraternity. So we had the kids flying around, having fun. I want them to get back to that, because I didn't see it. And I want to see y'all play lights out with the Black Shirt Mafia. And I'm going to put some quotations around lights out. Go get them, man. Y'all going into North Vermilion, y'all going to win this game. There's no doubt in my mind. No offense to North Vermilion. I don't know what y'all run on offense or anything. Rumor is it's the wing T. Again, Coach Tankalotti is the defensive coordinator. He ran the wing T for how many years? So if anybody knows how to stop it, it's him. We stopped it last year with Kaplan, so maybe they'll take a little bit of that. I don't know. I haven't talked to Coach yet. I'm going to be calling him tomorrow. We'll be talking. But, you know, for me personally, there's no way I could pick North Vermilion in this game. I got to go with Abbeville. But Coach Landon Dupuy at North Vermilion, keep up the good work.
Jake?
Man, I'm like Coach. I'm an outsider, but I've heard a lot of schools in Vermilion Parish are not too fond of North Vermilion. But you know, if Abbeville on the road, I don't think it matters. You know, you got a great coaching staff there, really good players. Give me Abbeville.
Gary?
I'm going to go with Abbeville myself. I think they're going to go in there with a good little attitude, a good little game plan, but they're going to go out there with something to prove.
Okay. Yep. Abbeville across the board. Get back to their winning ways this week. Like we said, those eye-openers could turn the page of what you want to accomplish in a year if you get it out the way early.
Right.
You don't want to have that what happened last week happen later in the season. So, Abbeville across the board. Next matchup, it is 1-1 Logan Sport heading down to 2-0 Peabody. Harry Coleman and Peabody has that football team going in the right direction. He welcomes in the state runner-ups this week. Can Peabody find a way at home to knock off Logan Sport?
Man, Peabody. There's a lot of rich tradition over there, and I'll tell you that's an intimidating place to play. You know, right there. No matter who plays there, no matter what the records are. Coach Harry Coleman's done a great job there so far. But I'm gonna tell you what, Coach Kevin McGee and Logansport, they got something to prove this year. They're on a as they call it a revenge tour. They left the Superdome with a bad taste in their mouth. I know it's just week 3, but Logansport's a team on a mission. Regardless of the new playoff format, they're a team on a mission. Give me Logansport.
Okay, Gary?
I'm going to give the edge to Logan Sport again also.
I'm going to go with the War Horses, man. Girls basketball dominate. And a lot of people don't know this, but Peabody's power lifters are some of the strongest kids in the state, man. Like they're monsters. So I don't know if Coach Coleman went over there. He might have got a couple of them to play football. I don't know what the deal is. But I always wondered why Peabody wasn't a successful football team. I don't know much about them, to be honest. I'm just picking them knowing what they could be. And I didn't even know Harry Coleman was there, but now that I know he is, I mean, you just gotta know that they're gonna be a team to be reckoned with in the future. So,
Yeah.
Definitely has them believing.
all right.
So, but I got to go Logansport here. The veteran football team that's played a lot of big games in their program. I think just Logansport has that edge when they have this type of matchup. Peabody, they have a shot to get there. Right now, I'm going to go with Logansport. Quick pick here, Jeanerette or Lake Arthur?
Lake Arthur's homecoming. Kind of scratching my head off for what Lake Arthur did against Mamu last week. Very impressed with Jeanerette. I think Jeanerette goes into Jack Dillon Memorial Stadium and spoils homecoming.
Okay, Gary, quick pick.
Jeanerette.
Yep.
I'll go with Lake Arthur.
I'm going Lake Arthur also. Find a way at home to get it done. 1-1 Reign against 2-0 Church Point. Battling Bears?
And look,
Yeah, Church Point.
I'm going with Church Point. I guess it's because I know the coaching staff there. You know, Coach Arsenault does a great job. Me and Coach Poole, he was the head coach of Lafayette High. I was the defensive coordinator. That guy is a really smart man. His dad is a Hall of Fame coach in the northern Mississippi or Tennessee area. So he grew up around the game. I know he brought a lot to that staff. Coach Eddie Bergeron. Coach Poole told me he's one of the best defensive line coaches he's ever seen. And Coach Kirk Laverne on the other side, offensive line. So all those names I just mentioned, those are solid football coaches. And every level, every position, every level of the offense, every level of the defense has a good coach with a lot of knowledge coaching. So I know everybody thinks the defense for Church Point is down because they lost so much. But, hey, if you score 42 points and you give up 41, you still win the game.
Right.
And it's all about – it kind of reminds me of the year the Saints won the Super Bowl, man. The defense wasn't great. We just found a way to get a turnover when it counted. You know, so if they could do that, hey, I'm going with Church Point.
Yep. Three-headed monster with Church Point. You said find a way to get a turnover when it counts. That final drive against Kinder.
Yep.
That turnover. So, battling Bears across the board. Next up, Sulphur goes down to Lafayette and takes on the Lions at LCA. Are we sticking with Lafayette to go 3-0 here, or is Sulphur coming in and getting the job done?
Sulphur and Lafayette has always had a great series, regardless where it's played. Coach Towery over there in Sulphur, his defense is phenomenal. Offense is he's got a great quarterback in Gage Tronhall. Really good line. I'll tell you right now, nobody gave him a chance last year, and all they did was finish third in district and proved a lot of people wrong. And I think they're just getting started.
One of those districts that's one of the top.
It's like the
5As.
SEC West, man.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
It really is.
I don't think it matters whether they play at Lafayette High or LCA. Get tore up. Give me Sulphur.
Gary?
Man, that's a hard one for me. I'm going to just take a gut, and I'm going to go with Lafayette High.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. We got so you got two different coaching styles here. I don't know if y'all know that. But we last year we scrimmaged Sulphur. So we went over there, and when we show up, they're kind of practicing. They have a drone flying overhead. They're filming their practice. So most teams, when they film practice, if they do, it's like they have a kid on a deer stand or something.
Right.
This dude had a drone flying. He had a guy holding a stick. He had every single angle covered for practice. And then you look at Coach Fig. I mean, he got the old school, and that's what I prefer, to be honest, the smash mouth. So a lot of these kids at Lafayette that are seniors now, they were freshmen and sophomores when I was there. They did lose a little bit of talent, but they got Big William Perry on the offensive line. That kid's an awesome kid, and I think he's going to go play college football. And you also have Saunier at quarterback, who is a hell of a weapon. So if Sulphur's probably going to key in on those guys, I think it's going to open up some unknowns that haven't got to shine yet that I know about. And then we go back to special teams, man. I think they returned the kickoff last week, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm definitely going Lafayette High on this one.
Okay. Let's split it. Give me Sulphur on the road here. One of those type of offensive explosion type of nights for both sides. Next up, you got Rose Pine and Kinder. Good old-fashioned football. Two teams that really don't care for each other much. Yellow Jackets at home. If they play like they played last week, I think the Yellow Jackets gets revenge this year over Rose Pine. Rose Pine, you can't credit anything from them. You can't take nothing from them. They got a really talented running back. They play physical football. But Kinder, with Graham Fawcett, and you got Pelican in the backfield, and you got number
James
40 in the backfield.
Mhm.
I mean, give me the Yellow Jackets at home. They always seem to play with that edge at home.
Same. I got Kinder.
I'm going to go with you on that. Also, I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Kinder is going to have the home field advantage. I think it's going to give them the edge.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'll tell you, I don't think Kinder's going to let Rose Pine come into their house and beat them 2 years in a row. And not knocking Rose Pine. They have a phenomenal running back, Grant Ducote. And a little note on the side, their quarterback, Jake Smith, broke a school record week 1, most passing yards in a game, like 400-something passing yards and like 6 touchdowns.
So Kinder secondary has to be ready.
Yes, they're gonna spread the ball out, but I think Kinder's ground and pound, that flex bone, James Roberts. Let me tell you, that kid's something else. He's a bull,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
I don't think Kinder's gonna allow them to come beat them 2 years in a row at their house. Give me Kinder.
Okay. Your next matchup, it's crazy to think 3 weeks into the season we are already into district play, into one of the biggest 5A districts in the state. This week 1 of district play, round 1 of district play is Southside Sharks versus the Karen Crow Golden Bears. Crow Dome will be rocking Southside. They've turned a page, and they are playing Southside football to the highest. But Karen Crow, back-to-back weeks of offense just going off the market with points scored.
Went up to
Karen
5A.
Crow move up to 5A. They're not backing down, Gary Swallow. And they get the quarterback back. Karen Crow is going to win this game at the Crow Dome.
As much as Coach Fontenot at Southside is building a great program, but I'm sorry, the Karen Crow is going to they're not missing a beat coming up to 5A. So guess what? I think it's going to be close till about halftime. Then look out! I think Karen Crow is going to run away with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's few. I have a handful of coaches that I always looked up to. Coach Tony Corville is one of them. That's a really cool story for him to be at Karen Crow in the heyday in the mid '90s with Kevin Falk and all those guys, and win a state championship and just be so dominant, and then leave to go other places, and then come back and win a state championship as the head coach.
Right.
So there was few times I was happy to see another coach win a state championship, because you was just like, you're happy for this guy, happy for that guy. But man, I felt really happy for him, because I know he felt like he got wronged at some other places. But when he became the head coach at Karen Crow, it was one of those things where, again, he knew all the bloodlines, he knew all the families, and he brought them back to their glory days, man, and it was awesome. He's one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the state. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, I've modeled my strength and conditioning program around a lot of the stuff he taught me, and that's what's made a difference of all the high schools I've gone to. But and his son's a great defensive coach. I mean, they have Coach Caesar over there. He's a great coach too, man. They have a lot of weapons. Might not be as much as the year they won state or last year, but dude, it's Karen Crow. Karen Crow's there,
And it's the Crow Dome.
and they moving up to 5A. Yeah, so what? So I'm definitely going with Karen Crow. Nothing against Southside. Like you said, they have, since they started their varsity play, they've surprised me and a lot of other people with
Playing
how
up
much they've
To
won.
their potential.
But I gotta
faster
go.
than what we expected.
Absolutely. But I'm going with Karen Crow for this one.
Jake, are we across the board?
Man, I tell you, I think this is going to be a interesting game the entire first half. I don't think Crow's going to run away with it necessarily right off the bat. Southside has some really good athletes. I think are going to give Karen Crow some headaches and fits early on. But second half, Karen Crow at home and the Crow Dome. Come on, man. What
go.
can I say?
Your defending state champs hit the road and go down to Evangel. A lot of championship history in that stadium.
Yeah.
Can Evangel throw a wrench into the Westgate plans, or is just Westgate that far ahead on their how you say that trying to go repeat?
The repeat quest.
Man,
I think it's Westgate in a long shot.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of crazy to think about. If imagine this game 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh.
man.
You know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't even.
Evangel was like Evangel and Curtis were the two programs 10 years ago that you would say, okay, who's playing for
Westgate?
second?
that was the game of the state.
You're talking about
Yeah.
Westgate?
Westgate going into
Evangel?
Shreveport, but now it's like it's the other way around. I'm not even. Westgate's gonna go in there. I think blow them out the water, man.
I think it's going to be very one-sided.
I agree.
Well, I tell you, I gonna have to throw a wrench in y'all's plans. I want to disagree a tad.
King's talking.
Man, I tell you, Evangel, the way they played, and I get it, it was muddy, and the way they played Neville,
The mud.
and the
in
way
mud
they
pit.
went, I know, but the way they went down to Mansfield and just
Man.
absolutely obliterated them.
Westgate's loaded, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from Westgate, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been to Evangel Stadium. I've been to Denny Duran Field quite a few times. That is just walking in there.
Instead of-
It's you can feel
Instead
the
of
history.
49-0, you're giving
I'm gonna give
49-14.
No.
All right.
No, I'm gonna give Westgate, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Evangel's not gonna let him walk all over them early on.
I remember the Katrina year when OC finally made it to the state championship with Doug Guillory. That's the year they passed the rule saying you have to play to your classification. So instead of going to the Dome, the state championships were played at Independence.
I
So we had to play Evangel in Shreveport, and they have a sign in the back of their end zone that's saying defending 5A state champions.
Oh.
And we're playing for the 1A state championship, man. And it was 12-7 at halftime. So we were excited about that, you know.
I remember that game.
Pretty much a home game for Evangel.
How about a couple of really good programs here? Avoyles, that's a team coming with a bad taste in their mouth. And Eunice, impressive road victory over Jennings last week. Eunice welcomes in Avoyles, and you got to think Eunice circled this one after last year when Avoyles just basically blew them out last year at their home
Absolutely.
field. You got to think Eunice is thinking back to last year. This is going to be a physical football game, and you might be out of there by 8:30 with their run game, both teams' run game. So Avoyles, Eunice, it's a tough pick to make. Turnover battle is key. Time of possession is key. Should be a dry field. What were you thinking?
I mean, I'll tell you, even if it was a muddy field, Avoyles, the way they run that football, I'm not sure what exactly how it went down with them and Turtlings. I heard they had some turnovers, but you want to talk about a team with a bad taste in their mouth, you were exactly right talking about Avoyles. Coach Boone is going to have them boys fired up. They're going to go down to Eunice. It's going to be a good game.
Really
don't
good
don't
game.
get me wrong. That Coach
Yep.
Vijay is going to have them boys fired up.
Yep.
It's going to be a physical contest. But I
Probably
think
one
at
of the more physical games in the state this week.
Absolutely. I think Avoyles is going to come out on top.
You got to ask yourself, okay, which of all's team is going to be playing? The one that scored 70-something points, you know,
The one with
or
turnovers.
the one that just turned the ball over? Which one will it be?
Well,
I will tell you, if Avoyles does not turn the ball over, they win easily. If Avoyles does not turn the ball over,
Gotta-
they win easily.
And they got to recover an onside kicker, too.
Yes, most
Yes.
definitely. They have to do that.
They
Yeah,
lost
man.
one last week. They lost onside last week, which
Right.
is very
So you
unusual.
like Avoyles?
He's going to Avoyles. I'm gonna give Avoyles the edge right now.
I'm going Eunice just because I know how they run their program. I mean, those kids come into high school knowing the offense and the defense like the back of their hand.
Correct.
And, you know,
the program's awesome.
me and Coach Josh Guidry worked together at Beauchene. He was the head coach at the time. And then when he went to Eunice, we would talk, and he was like, man, we hit so much at practice. Like, these Friday nights are easy compared to practice. And that was when Coach Trosclair was there. He's like, I think we hit too much, you know. But they also had kids that played both sides of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, and never came out, never cramped. And that was the year they won the state championship. So, and they're not doing nothing fancy. They're just hard-nosed kids. So you talk about turnovers. If one of those receivers from Avoyles comes across the middle, they might get hit and cause a turnover. You know, it might not be a simple interception or something like that. So I don't know much about Avoyles. I don't know their style of football, if it's spread and